Hi, this is episode 9 of season 3. It's called Wee Small Hours. And this is Matthew Weiner, and I'm here with
Scott Hornbacher,
whose name you've seen on the credits before, and I have mentioned in this commentary and in public. His creative contribution to the show is constantly in effect, but he actually is the director of this episode. And I have to say in advance, episode 9 is a tough spot in the season because we've usually run out of material and production's at its height, and we're about to go on the air, and it's this was a very it was a tough episode to crack story-wise because it has this Victorian romance in it, which starts with this dream here and this amazing music written by David Carbonara. I love the way he did this dream, and it may not read from this, but this is the back room. This is the same set as the back room where she had the interlude with the stranger, only the painting couch is in it.
Yes, and January Jones and Chris Stanley, of course, were tortured, shot miles of footage to have those 3 shots.
To have them make out.
Yeah.
And here's Conrad Hilton, the nightmare client, calling in the middle of the night. The baby wakes up.
Chelsea Ross, amazing guest, one of the amazing guest actors in this episode.
He really is. This is the continuation of their relationship now that he is a client. After Don signed the contract and went to Rome. And after Rome, where they had they were reunited, they had the second honeymoon, and then Betty was despondent afterwards. It's interesting to see where their life picks up. And part of it is that Connie is terrorizing them. And part of it is, by the way, got to comment on the robe. Janie was, I was like, people talk about Caravaggio. Part of it is the ability to have this kind of red in the show.
Mm.
But the story itself is about, the watchword on it was really about impulse, right?
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Let me think on that.
Well, I mean, it starts out with, Connie being very impulsive and calling him in the middle of the night and not really caring that much about what Don's doing or what impact it has to him. And I think that there is a self-centeredness behind most of the people's actions in the show.
Betty has this line in here about the baby. I want what I want when I want
Yes.
it. And that was really the key to the whole thing.
Which you said to me,
yeah,
from the beginning when we were talking about what was important. And I think I said to you earlier today that, everybody has their want and their agenda. But there's this interesting thing that's, there's a relationship between Don and Connie. There's a relationship between Don and Sal. There's a relationship between Betty and Henry.
between Don and Suzanne.
And between Don and Suzanne. And they all unfold or kind of collide in their own special way in the episode.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to me is a lot of it's about time. Because what makes the difference between just an impulse or like an activity is it's literally that you want it now and when it has to happen. And you want it to happen immediately, and you don't think about how it affects other people, and you don't even think about how it affects you. So it's sort of related to expectation. But here's this chance happening as him going into work and seeing her jogging. We know that she jogs. It was mentioned in episode 7. This is obviously was a production challenge, right?
Yes. I'm so glad it was mine. This shot right here of her running alongside, believe it or not, is incredibly hard to do unless you're smart enough to realize that the car should be driving slowly, the actor should run into frame, get out of frame, and then drop back and find the lens, which is the ultimate solution to get that shot.
Yeah. Did you learn that by doing it? Or
At 2:30 in the morning. I was the one who figured it out after like 13 takes, yes.
And it's also important to me, we talk about where Don and Betty live, and it's often affected in the sound in the show, but they're in the country.
Yeah.
And here, the radio comes on. I didn't want it to be this TV moment of like, Martin Luther King speaking, they happen to be listening to it. It was the day before. The calendar is very specifically addressed in this show, and we had all of these things I was going to put title cards in originally.
Right.
I was really worried about if people would understand the amount of time that was passing.
I was terrified about it while we were directing because I knew it was important that it be clear, and it wasn't.
I wasn't clear.
It wasn't underscored that way you're talking about with title cards. And, like this scene in particular, I mean, it's one of their first real conversations where they truly have privacy, because they've always been sort of in the shadow of some public event before, and there is this whole Martin Luther King,
Right, yeah.
thing hanging over it, and they're actually revealing something about themselves by talking about the current event that is
Right.
in their face on the radio.
Right. And also, I have a dream. It's not an accident. Betty has her dream at the beginning of this thing, and it wasn't meant to be that literal, but it was meant to be literal about the impulse to have change in your life and to get what you want and what you felt you deserved. And of course, the nobility of what Martin Luther King's asking for, and then the privacy of what Don is asking for here. And there's a push and pull between the two of them that I think was hard for people to understand, at least from some of the reactions I've gotten. But I just felt that this woman is a modern person, and that she's got a little bit of hippie to her, and she is self-destructive. And
Well, she's selfless because she wants to actually teach kids, and she believes in the truth of what Martin Luther King is saying, and she wants to, pass that on to the kids. But she is flirting with him, and it is illicit.
right,
And Don is actually a little bit selfish, as usual.
I love the amazing lighting in this scene. The way that Chris conveys that rainy day feeling in New York,
Yes.
where it's early in the morning, the lights are a little bit too bright inside, it's dark outside, it could be night, but it's morning, and this to me it's a very evocative lighting, and I love Alexa, who plays Allison, is just such a real person, and Dawn.
She did a great job.
She did that little surprise and the way she is. And here's another rainy day. School has not started yet. We're with the calendar. Carla comes in, who's going to figure very prominently in the episode. And here is a lot of insert work in this show, which is scary for directors.
Yes.
But here's the thing, that Betty is basically reminded of this dream by seeing Rockefeller's name in the newspaper. And part of the calendar was
We blew that up. That's actually an oversized
Oh, I didn't
prop.
realize that.
Yep.
I did not sleep last night.
but
Take a nap. I'll shop in the afternoon.
Betty's letter writing with Henry had to take place over a certain period. And you see the relationship between Betty, this client and relationship between Betty and Henry, between Don and Connie, between Don and Suzanne, between Don and Sal, between Sal and the clients. There's power dynamics going on that are all based on people's romantic expectations and also their impulses. She's writing a letter to him that's very safe. Does anyone else read this? But she is crossing a line into intimacy, which I love.
It's like the Brontes or something. It's
Yeah.
very, and her relationship with Henry the communication is very old-fashioned and drawn out, and Don's communication is much more immediate and modern,
true.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, the telephone, it's true.
And I think you actually, speaking about the rain and everything else, and it being wee small hours, really pushed us to play the darkness. Not in this scene, but
No, well, and this scene's fun too, because this is also about the antique and the modern. And, we saw that hotel room in Rome the episode before, which is really the first
Yeah.
truly contemporary room. I wouldn't use the word modern because it's become associated with style,
right.
but with a little M, contemporary. And here's Don expressing his anxiety about pleasing Hilton, who we know he has this very special relationship with. We're about to find how special.
And he's so in control in this situation to the point where he's saying, don't use my bad ideas if they're bad.
Right. None of this is related to the process of writing the show.
No.
No.
I think I told Elizabeth, just pretend you're Lisa Albert. And she and John laughed. But that chair, I can't even look at him sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
I can't do this all by myself.
Not sure I'm supposed to just admire what's going on in the show, but
No, it's it's one of the great things about watching these again is we can talk about how here we are. Now this is at night, but it's indoors.
right.
So we got the clock on the wall and we're trying to convey that this is the end of this day. And of course, as the audience has noticed, hopefully, Pete doesn't smoke. And here we have another client like Hilton, the triumph of the client, and how important they are, and how their ass has to be kissed. And Josh did a great job. Bob gave us a little bit of memory, Bob Levinson, about how these things were shot. And we'd also had done Jimmy Barrett last year, which was obviously the ground bed for this whole thing. And by the way, we have to talk about a lot of the day players in the show
Yeah.
are people from the
Yes.
show. Jennifer Getzinger is a director on the show, plays the script supervisor, and Nina Jack, our first AD, is later in the show, and Scott's wife, Paige, is in the show as one of the people at the fundraiser. But I just love this. Sal is in control, but the client is really in control.
Well, Sal has to humor Lee Gunner Jr. to get what he wants.
Right.
And Lee Garner wants to be in charge. And
Right.
he knows that he ultimately isn't because he's subject to whatever the company or his father
Right.
wants. But there's nobody else there, so he can grab turf and.
Right, and Harry just jumps along as just another ass kisser. You see Jen back there. Brian is really remarkable in this episode. And so is our actor here who plays Lee Garner Jr.
Darren
Petty, who was in the pilot. And there's no intimation of any kind of relationship between the two of them other than client and director. So here we know it's another day, a couple weeks later, and Don in the middle of the night is looking for Suzanne, but she's not there. That already tells us something new about Don, boy.
It reminds me of somebody sees somebody they're attracted to on the bus and then hopes they're there the next time they ride the
Exactly.
bus.
And here is another expression of I want what I want when I want it. Sally is talking about this pencil case.
Betty
First day of school. What?
Betty gets her letter.
Yes. Betty gets her letter and everything drops by the wayside because her heart is pounding.
The baby cries and wants.
Right. And she sends Carla to take care of it.
Well, she doesn't even think about it, actually.
No.
Right?
Well, I can't, I have to say, as someone who's raised 4 children and had some help, my wife and I have behaved this way. I know
yeah.
it's ugly on TV, but...
It's natural.
And I love this letter. You asked me if there's anywhere else, and he's basically reaching... Now he is
Right.
complicit in this, that this relationship should be deeper than what we've seen.
I love this piece of writing for Sally, though, because it's so real.
You're so quiet. You must be tired.
I'm not tired.
She's
I
fixated.
really want to play loosely.
Why are you behaving like that? Because I want that thing.
Right. And here we have the stand-up movieola, which I felt gave us physical intimacy. It took us back. I love this actor playing the editor. He's Tom Wilson, by the way, the editor on this show. Another amazing contribution.
Oh, my
Someone
God.
who, as I'm trying to rewrite the show and you're fighting to maintain your vision, there's somebody there who has got fresh eyes and completely telling the story in such an economical way.
He's very good at also pointing out, well, the reason why that's good is because it's doing this. And then you
Right.
either agree with that or you don't. But he's...
I mean, other than having someone practice their golf swing or teach someone how to play tennis, this is about as physically close as you can get to human beings in a completely realistic, motivated way.
And something that in the writing and the producing that you were so clear about is that, establishing all of them that physically intimate prevents you from being sort of telegraphed that this
Right.
is going to happen or that it's going to seem unrealistically intimate when he leans in for this moment when they're alone.
I'm very proud of the fact that in a subtext way, as with Betty in her letters, he has brought up sex with women as a way to get sex on the table, as
Yes.
a conversation starter, to get it in the air now that he's going to be talking to Sal. And he has to look from this realm. And Brian's reaction here is exactly what it is. He knows immediately that he does not want to be seen as this kind of person. And even though this client has compromised himself, you can feel it. His heart is racing, his mouth is dry. This is the ultimate story of sexual harassment to me, because this person's job is immediately, they are below this person. He's below the client.
I mean, when I watch it, I hope I get what everybody else is getting, which is that he's terrified that he's in trouble.
He's in trouble, right. And all he
And
has
he's gonna
done
do
is
whatever
been
he's
an
gonna do.
object of this person's will.
This physical thing he does where he crosses his arms and puts his hands in front of his crotch.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That was a deliberate thing. He asked me if it was okay. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And then I love that and I love the way you shot it. Him physically, and look at Darren here. He knows he's above reproach. He's not worried about being discovered. He's the client. He can never been caught. He behaves this way. He doesn't want to get caught. He just doesn't expect that it's even possible. And the fact that Sal's in trouble, not because he's rejected this romance, but because his job is now exposed. And here
I
is
think
a
we've seen-
montage. Talk about this.
This,
Yeah.
I'm so pleased there's a place that I can write to you.
well, I mean, to me, again, this was a place where,
That I like the idea of looking
you know,
for male's rivalry.
you have a voiceover and she's telling Henry what's going on with her, and she's thinking about her relationship to him, and she's in her real life immersed with her children, and
And I suppose
you
I
know,
too much where you are and what you
cinematically, it's a lot more fluid than, I mean, a lot of the show I did very simply and
No, it's
static shots,
very,
and it's-
very artfully done. It's obsessive and romantic, and it's tortured, and it's Victorian. It's really
Right.
about like these are the things we cannot speak
her,
about.
her internal, she's stuck with her internal.
Right. And I love her delivery of this, and I'm very proud of the writing of it. This is my attempt to capture the way this woman could flirt. It's antiquated even for that period. And here we have them. Harry watches TV for a living. The two of them are working late. They have this great friendship. I love this TV between them, which would later play in the Grown Ups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought about that it actually is really established in this episode. It has been before, but it's really
No, it was
established
very
in this
important.
episode. And I love that they're eating and they're not really doing anything.
And I love it. And here's this blood red
Oh, yeah.
for this client and for this power move from the client. And how good is he in this?
Oh, yeah.
Dude?
You know what? He flew in on a Sunday night. We had 8 pages of work to shoot with
He's
him
going
in
to play
it.
in New York, so he
Right.
can only work on Monday. I was just explaining it.
And so all of his work in the show was shot in one day. And that was only possible because of how good he was in the other actors.
And I just love this. I wrote this line, no, Harry. And never did it for him. He got it right away. This. No. And he has gone around the things as the client. He is not going to deal with Sal. He's expecting discretion, and he's expecting his will to be... to me, there was a message here for Harry, which is when you don't even want to be on these people's radar. The fact that he had kissed this guy's butt put him in a position now to be compromised. And this dilemma was discussed a lot. It was discussed a lot in the writer's room. It was discussed a lot with Bob Levinson, who had been in this position, not literally in this position, but understood how the hierarchy worked. Josh Weltman, who understood how the hierarchy worked in the advertising world. And we were just saying, like, what is the right thing for Harry to do? And to me, I actually believe that other than telling Paul about it, which the confidence was not betrayed, Harry has done the right thing. Hoping this will go away is better because he doesn't want to be in the position of telling Sal. He doesn't want to have Sal lay low because it's going to compromise them there at the office. And he doesn't want to go against the client's wishes. And I think he knows that the guy's drunk. And I think he's hoping that even if it doesn't go away, that he's not going to bear any responsibility. It was, to me, a horrible position to be in. This is a great shot. Talk about this.
Don's lying awake.
To me, this is a perfect expression of what the director does on the show, which is the camera is explaining the story, which is that Don is anticipating Connie's call, and by showing that Betty is asleep and that he is awake before this happens, just does it.
Yeah, but I project a whole lot of other things on lying there.
What?
Well, I mean, Suzanne, you think about Suzanne.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know.
Of course.
Right now?
You can say no.
It's interesting, though, because Dan Bishop, who outdid himself.
What was
always
Connie's
does.
apartment? Connie's presidential suite with everything, but
The television studio, Connie's, the editing room. But he always talks about light and dark. For him, design is all about light and dark, and I feel like you see that all over the place in this.
and with Chris Manley, that the fact that people will commit to it. No one
Yeah.
wants to. The risk of not being able to see what we've done is their biggest terror. Not only to what I'm going to say, but what their peers are going to say when they watch the show is a big part of it also.
Oh, I know. I mean, there was conversations with Chris where I would say, let's make it darker, let's turn that light off, because I knew you had sort
Right.
of infused me with the idea of doing that. And he was excited by it, but he was reluctant on some level because he was afraid, I think.
I think about my business day and night.
I want to talk about the scene
Yeah.
just from a writing standpoint for a second here. I mean, you got amazing performances. This was your first scene up in the show. You got, Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle in the scene together. But this, to me, is a lot of message of what the season was about and why Connie was in the show. And there's been some response, without revealing my politics here, I think it's confused people a little bit because this is not necessarily a political statement. This is about the American dream and about the fact that Connie, to me, is not insane and he is not a child and he is not being unreasonable with Don. He is expressing the highest goals for his business. And hearing the word communism sounds silly to us. But this man believed in the American way of life. He believed that his mobility from the bottom to the top was part of that. He believed that God was part of that. And all of it was the way he expressed himself in his business. And then you have this amazing human side to the story, which is, I'm lonely because I work a lot. And I want you to be in my life because I admire you and you're like me. And him saying you're like a son to me is, it's lonely at the top, but it's also these people's humanity, these giants of business, their humanity is a lot of times, not their inhumanity, is what allows them to see things other people don't see.
You mean the fact that he's actually vulnerable?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that, about this scene in particular as a setup for what comes later, is he a total calculating manipulator? I don't think so.
No. I think he wants Don in his life.
Right. He sees something in him.
Confidence.
I love this. He's talking about himself. I love this shot. I love this, seeing this set. And I love John Hamm in this scene because he expresses a vulnerability that is almost accidental. I mean, it's not accidental by John at all, but John picked a spot to open up and be touched, and you believe it. And it's not just them bonding over the moonshine or their country roots.
Well, I think that there's a point where it starts to become a real conversation for him as opposed to I'm here indulging a client.
Right.
And then Connie's...
He's surprised by it.
Connie, all of a sudden it's almost like he realizes Connie's going to say something to him that he's never heard from anybody before, and then he does say it to him.
Yeah.
And how susceptible is he to be influenced by an older man who's successful, who's treating him nicely and saying good things about him,
and who does see him the way he really is. Don is living a double life, we know that, but this man sees exactly who he is.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because in the same way that Cooper didn't care that he had a second identity because he's like...
Right.
All of these guys, it was the American dream, right?
Yeah.
You could go from nothing to something.
And the world saw us that way, which is something that we may have forgotten, that this all came from not from a desire to dominate, but from a very good place, which is, look at what's possible here. Henry is doing something very rash and impulsive here. He wants to see her, and he shows up, and he doesn't even think about it. And then her reaction lets him know immediately, that this was a mistake. And
it's just I wanted to see you.
Carla's entrance into this thing.
Yeah.
It's the exact same story as Sal.
Yes.
She shouldn't have seen this, and now her job is in trouble.
Oh, there you are. Carla, this is Henry Francis.
Henry.
He bolts for the door. And now they both vamp, and they tell this lie.
I think this is an excellent venue for a fundraiser.
Oh.
And I love the way you shot this with Carla in between here. She doesn't know if she's supposed to go, or
Carla, will you show Mr. Francis?
if she walks out, it's even more embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
And Betty, is drawing a bath. Her lie is terrible. She leaves the laundry there. This look from Deborah Lacey, who is amazing as Carla, and particularly this episode, is not just about that wasn't true. It's like, oh, I wish I had not seen that.
Yeah, well, I mean, she and I actually talked a lot about, the kind of trouble this was for her. Just because not because we needed to for the scene even, but just because we were both interested in it as a dramatic moment for the character. And
now, speaking of dramatic moments, now we have three people. Two different, they don't know what's going on with each other.
Right.
This half, of course, was shot separately because Darren was only there for the one day.
Yes. It's amazing that can be done, right?
And then he just walks out. And now everyone is exposed. And I love that Roger and Don are not getting along.
Vinny runs.
It was in the script. He runs after him, wasn't it?
I
wanted him to see.
It's funny because when he ran, I thought that was too big, but then it's
no. I
now
think
it's
I
perfect.
wanted him to.
You probably did. I actually should look.
I don't know. He did, and he told me to get rid of Sal.
What I love is that at this point,
and Sal is not important.
but I'm saying in episode 8, I'm trying to remember how prominent as Roger,
He told me not to.
and then he's in this episode twice
Yeah.
in a very surgical way,
Oh, yeah.
and it's full frontal Roger. It's complete.
It is.
He's being
And-
a boss.
Yes, exactly, and I love that. I love this. You come and see mommy and daddy, and Pete works in his department. He can't. This account. The business reality of this is being impressed by Roger's reaction.
What is going on?
But I love how he just casually fought. It's
He would.
distinct. It's
Yeah.
powerful, but it's casual.
And now he's sticking it up Don's butt because Don won't
Right.
listen to him, and Don won't help him. Won't include Hilton. Won't include him in the Hilton process. And here's Brian. He's amazing in this. And Harry's like, I'm going to take care of myself here.
I can see you and I can hear you. What do you want?
Everything's fine for Don. What's going on? He doesn't know. And here we have real trouble, real anxiety.
I've screwed up with Lee Garner
I.
Jr. How do I explain this?
He told Harry to fire me.
And I think
Talk about what you were saying about Sal.
I mean, Sal is coming in here and he's like, okay, well, Don's my friend. Now it's been relegated to him. He takes care of everything. He's my, my coworker, if not.
yeah, and he's my friend.
And
Beyond
my friend
this.
and my boss.
And he knows a lot about me.
He'll know a solution. Yes,
Yeah.
and he does know a lot about me. And then
And then the scene takes a turn for him, and his
Don has to prioritize.
his realization of what's going on here. And Don doesn't have a choice, and we could have just played it that way and had Don say, I'm sorry, and be kind to him and let him know that. But I love the fact that the information Don has about Sal is really what informs
And,
this.
and what the way Sal's dialogue is very sing-songy, kind of like, well, it was this and that,
Right.
and it's like making it very casual.
I'm not going to ask again.
And then right there,
Yeah, I'm your boss, and I know everything. I was there in Baltimore. I told you to keep it to yourself.
And he cornered me in the editing room. Cornered you?
Yes. And I backed him off.
Don
told
hears
him I was
immediately
married,
what
and
happened.
He was embarrassed and he left.
You must have been really shocked.
And here's Don basically saying, your dress was too low cut, your skirt was too short, or whatever,
Yeah.
or something.
Because nothing could have happened.
right? And maybe you're saying that you aren't attracted to the guy at all,
Right.
even, and who knows? Maybe he is.
Yeah, but even if whatever he says is, you're
Right.
promiscuous. This is a stereotype about gay people that
Right.
Don has, and Don is promiscuous too. But you people can't keep it. You can't hold on to this. It's so incredibly unfair.
Oh, it's complete injustice.
But I think it's consistent with Don, and it was hard for people to see it that way. But the account was the account, and the personal part of it was even more devastating.
Well, I mean, it's funny. Remember how upset he was when Bobby told him that,
That he'd been being talked about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky strike could shut off our lights.
And there was a line here where Don stood up and he said, I'm sorry before this. And I cut it.
I think you know that this is the way this has to be.
I felt it was not real. I think that it was Don's almost maintaining his dignity by having a business relationship with him here.
I think Sal looks poleaxed there.
Yes. Where that word was always in the scripts in The Sopranos. That was we were always like, how do you perform this? But that's how you do it.
But I mean, he like, what can he do? He's got to shake his hand, but he's literally he's just lost, like gravity changed for him. He had no idea that that's what was going to happen.
And Don is not happy about it. He comes home here and he is not happy. Betty is worried about Carla. She is enforcing, in a very subtle way, her support for Carla and her dominance of Carla, just the way
What do you want instead?
Lee Garner did.
Oh, and Carla is walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Carla works for me, not for you.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi.
Don just needs a drink.
Look.
Not good.
He does feel bad about it. And
Hi.
she's worried. I don't know if she's worried Carla's literally going to say something or she just can't stand the tension of Carla knowing this and she just overcompensates.
She blows it up.
Yeah.
Francine sent them over here. They want to have a
I'm going to come clean.
And but it's funny. There's actually January. I don't know if this is inherent, and she's kind of proud of herself.
For handling this way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've
later-
come clean, and then she
Yeah.
realizes that she's screwed.
I
when-
loved that when she did. I just felt like of course,
Yeah.
she's, practicing her arts.
Right. And then she's forced to do it because Don doesn't give a crap, but now she realizes, oh, my God, he said yes, and now I have to do it.
Right.
Or I'm admitting to Carla, if nothing else, that I'm having an affair with this man.
Right. It is interesting. She's actually doing it's 99% for Carla and 1% for Don.
Right. And then here is one of the things that I love that we do on the show is shot beautifully.
If you're here, do I have to be here?
This
Here's a
next
scene
shot,
of aftermath. Yeah.
that's an incredible.
Look at that art department.
Yeah.
Good night, boss. And the continuity of Marty being in the art department and Sal having all of his stuff there. And the fact that he has lost his job.
Henry Francis.
Hello. I thought I'd get the service. This is Betty. Draper.
I know that.
I love that actually that the way you reveal Dawn being off camera here because she's so formal, and then you do this. And now we know this is for Dawn's benefit.
Husband about the fundraiser.
Well, it's interesting because I actually was thinking about doing it the opposite way.
Where you start on Dawn.
Well, I was going to have a piece where you came off the wall and saw Betty, but then I was like, it's so much more interesting to be with her.
Oh yeah.
Experiencing what she, and she's doing it all for his benefit with her back to him, and
Right. Like, what are you doing? It's all out in the open.
and I
it's all
also love
public.
the fact that he doesn't care at all.
Right. Dawn has no interest in it. I also love the fact that here's the plus is that she's going to get to see Henry.
Right, but she's also she's proud of herself again because she's done everything. Now she's fixed it all, right?
I'll go sit with him. I didn't do anything right now. Here. People always want to see Don selling an amazing idea, and Josh came up with this campaign all by himself. It is directly related to the work of DDB at that time. It is a very modern ad for Sterling Cooper. I am proud of the fact that, the audience, every single person who watches this can tell that this is a very good campaign.
I also love the fact that the idea that, Hilton is the same in every language is such an extension of Hilton, exporting America.
It was
and
exactly what he
pushing
asked
back
for.
communism, and yeah.
And he said this thing about the moon, and this is not just someone being unreasonable. I was interested in Conrad Hilton because I saw an ad that it's been traced directly back to him, which is that there will be a Hilton in space, and you'll see his name in 2001. You'll see the Hilton logo on the spaceship. This was literal. This was like Richard Branson.
I was going to say Richard Branson.
This is not some crazy person. It's like, I asked for the moon. You didn't give it to me. I love that he was literally asking for the moon. That was the poetry of it to me, obviously. And I love also, too, that there's not this TV thing. His reaction to this thing is quite believable. He sees it's good. He's impressed. And then it just sort of starts to go downhill. And Don is actually being embarrassed.
Well, he realizes there isn't anything more, too, right? I think. And to me, he
Very good.
turns into a reptile.
He does. He does.
But what about the moon?
Excuse me?
There's nothing about the moon.
Don's excuse me, which he can barely utter there. Excuse me? What?
Right.
That wasn't the point. I said.
Well, it confirms exactly what Connie says to him, which is that you want people just to
Right.
accept everything you do.
Right. Look at Kurt's outfit there. Janie Bryant and them, and they can see something's going bad here.
And I was going to say, Patrick Kavanaugh and Lizzie Moss having to basically be in the scene, say nothing, but
They're very important.
huge part of the drama. Just
Very important.
Very hard thing to do as an actor, I think.
I don't know. I mean, actors aren't usually asked to do it, but the people on this show do it all the time.
Right.
I mean, look, you got Lizzie there. And this tells the audience that Don's really in trouble. And he's still selling here, but he gets more emotional and more personal, which I love because he's being bullied. And here's a disappointment.
Probably scared.
Or they trust my work.
You want me to just say yes to everything you do?
And I love that the redefinition of their relationship here, based on everything they agreed to, based on this intimacy, it's an exact, Betty and Henry's is an exact echo of it later on, and you really pulled that off. And of course, Don and Suzanne is the flip side. That's the one where he says, I don't care, I'm in control of this, it's really going to happen. And she's like, I don't want it to happen, but he wins.
Fine.
It's debatable that she didn't want it to happen.
No, but she knew it was wrong.
Right.
They both acted on their impulses. His line is, I don't care. She did want it to happen.
But when I say I want the moon, I expect the moon.
His disappointment, that's personal, that's not professional. Disappointment is emotional. It's parental.
Yes, and I think that it reveals how personal Hilton is to Connie his business, that it impacts him that much.
Yeah. I love the way you covered the scene. It's got a lot of people in it. The fainting couch is in it. She has this expectation about Henry coming. Janie did an amazing job dressing her up with this expectation. This political conversation about how open-minded they are as Carla's answering the door. This whole idea of a Rockefeller Republican that has a conscience, a conservative with a conscience about social issues that's not just driven out of, religious anger. It's almost disappeared. And it's admirable, even though at the bottom of it, I wonder if anybody is in this for the politics. I think they're all keeping busy. And this woman,
Ann Ryerson,
fantastic. The woman from his office. I mean, she just takes over the scene. She doesn't want to embarrass Betty. She is one of these people, and I brief him on everything she says. And she's dealing with Betty's disappointment, her sexual disappointment.
And
Look how mad she is. Francine,
Begin whenever you want.
Annie Dudek, always. That's what I'm saying. All these people aren't talking here, that they are making the
Yes.
scene. They're showing the reality.
I was saying it's an incredible group of. And
There's
who's that
Paige.
woman in the black there?
That's Paige.
Looks like somebody I might want to have children with.
That's Scott's wife. And I hate to say it, it's an insult and it's a compliment. She really fit in with the women at the Rockefeller fundraiser. She's of that stock.
Yes.
There's a mandatory contribution tonight.
And I love how this just goes on, and Betty is
I love
just
how
so disappointed.
it ends being completely intimate with Betty in a room full of people.
And this box and this shot, this is what Scott has contributed always on the show. We are on the soundstage, and we have the cigarette in her hand, the box in the front, the music, and you know it's Betty, and you know she's driving there. And what was written in this thing is Betty drives, right?
Yeah.
And there's a difference there of about $20,000 between those two shots.
But I
actually think this is this is not just a solution. This is artistically more interesting.
I mean, we had plates. We could have done her against green screen, but I felt that it
said
was
it all.
fun to
Yeah.
see Betty from the neck down and know exactly what was going on.
And I love this. She came in and he completely deflates her because he's trying to explain to her, these are the rules. You had to come to me.
He's actually trying to take care of her and
Right.
protect her.
I am not going to seduce you away from your husband. You have to tell me that you want to have this illicit relationship. And then the door gets locked and it becomes illicit. And she realizes that this is not her Victorian fantasy. This is kind of dirty. And as she says, it's tawdry. It's, I don't think it's just that period. I think it's still the woman's fantasy of infidelity, at least Betty Draper's, is very different than the man's.
Well, you have to think about who she is. I mean, she wears crinolines every day. I mean, she
did-
has expectations.
But she did screw that guy in the back room, which is a very male version of it. But I do think that had it was more complex. But here she is, this man, and you know what else? It cannot be underestimated that when this man put his hand on her belly at that party and treated her sexually when she was pregnant, that a switch went off in her brain, and that she is obsessed for what she is missing, through the fainting couch, through these letters.
I'm very sorry.
Well, it makes her as complicated as Don, at least.
Yeah. I will say Brett, who was the script supervisor last year before.
Script coordinator.
Oh, I'm sorry, script coordinator. Brett Johnson, who was the script coordinator, read the script and he said, "Oh, poor Betty. Even her affairs aren't as good as Don's." And this office.
I love this scene.
Yeah.
Send him in.
Talk about Roger being the boss, exactly. How many times has Roger blown in the door like this?
And the other thing is, how many times did you guys actually talk to each other this season?
Right.
At this point.
And you can see a little bit of him being hurt because he doesn't have access to Hilton. And also him saying,
Limit your brilliance.
"You don't understand what I do. You're taking this whole thing on yourself." And of course it blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this reference to the lawnmower.
What you want this place to be known for? That and some guy losing his foot in a lawnmower?
And you can see that that Slattery is playing it angry.
Yeah. He's blaming him for all the chaos.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate what I do.
Exactly. And here we have this amazing speech, which when I read it, I actually almost started crying. I had never heard it before for the four little girls. This is showing the time passing. Now, this is part of it, I just wanted to show it all compressed against so that this was the reaction to I Have a Dream. This was literally 2 weeks later. And Betty identifying with her own struggle to be with this guy. I mean, this is not just white guilt. I love the way you shot this too, from the doorway and Carla alone and the radio. We decided at the last minute to change the station and have the music playing rather than just having her turn it off. And I felt it just...
It's great.
And there was a line here...
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Where she said...
Where when she said
happen.
it's not supposed to happen, she said it's going to happen, and I felt she wouldn't say it.
I love it without it.
And this is what Betty's saying about, are you being impulsive? The world might not be ready for it. And Carla just saying like, oh, when is it going to happen?
Her reaction, which was essential, is still driven by that line that's cut, though.
Yeah. And it's like Sal, she is powerless at this job. And these people don't understand what's at stake. I love the idea of just experiencing the history that way and not giving people a message about civil rights, explaining that it's so important to some people and it's going to be in their face and they're going to have to deal with it. And that, to me, you know, from Medgar Evers' death on, the more martyrs there are, the harder it is for America to ignore it and change. And not that a lot of white people didn't support it, but it did change. Sal has basically reacted to this. It was a last-minute decision, but that Sal was basically going to sort of throw in the towel on his life, and just he's definitely in a different world after this. I love this shot.
This is the ultimate. I want what I want. Want it. This is the most impulsive thing that happens in the show.
Yeah, and he gaslights her here. He lies to her and says that Hilton's called, and it was part of showing her asleep when the phone rang the first time. Is that she could sleep through the phone.
I didn't hear the phone.
He lies to her because he really wants to go there and see Suzanne. He didn't get anything he wanted. But he's going to have that. And look at this. Look at the confidence of cinematography and the director and everything to let this room actually be dark. You're not going to see this in the movies or in television right now. There's Don knocking on the door, definitely a reference to Midge and to the other mistresses in his life. And there's a set of rules that go with her place. She didn't want him to come in, and there he is. He's coming in. And she lets him in.
He's a vampire unless she invites him in.
Yeah, I do feel that way. She had to invite him in. He's not going to force himself into it.
Another amazing set that Dan...
Oh, wow. I mean, it was so great. The staircase and being above the garage and this mixture of the decor that the landlords put in of this 40s furniture, and then...
What can I do for you?
Her
I don't know.
physical openness and him trying to...
Right.
Him trying to use his charm and her just cutting right to it. She's very, very modern. Sex is at the bottom of this, and she's not going to pretend like it isn't. I don't think it's modern. I think it's the way people are. It's just something we don't associate with that period.
Because I'm new and different.
I think it's great that she's like sort of challenging,
Tell me you've run past
you know, the urge that he has, the uniqueness of it, the fact that she's special.
Right.
She's questioning it all because she knows if any guy that's doing this has done it before.
Right. And she's done it before too, and it's self-destructive. But they want what they want.
I know exactly how it ends.
So what?
Look at him. He's like, I don't want to hear these arguments.
Your daughter was my student. I've seen your wife
Yeah.
in the market.
It was self-destructive, and we learned that by the end of the season. But I see chemistry there, and I know everyone was afraid that she would reveal him or behave irresponsibly or was crazy or something. I think that the forwardness of her sexuality was uncomfortable for people.
Mm-hmm.
And they should get used to it because it's what happened. And it's all over the place now. It's one of our perceptions about this period is the quaintness. I love this shot, and I love the song. I had the song on my iPod. I thought it was Ella Fitzgerald. It turned out it wasn't. But I love the dissonant opening to it.
This can't be good.
What I look at this is that this was a release, and that it is destructive. But it was a release, and this whole episode was a prelude to them getting together. What was the thing that was actually going to drive him to actually pull the trigger on this thing? We saw this woman first in episode 2. And here he is saying literally to every argument she has, I don't care, which means I want this.
No,
And
I mean,
want it now.
I mean, I love the tension that was built, and then the fact that they sleep together breaks the tension.
Yeah.
But I've always, from the script through shooting it to the finished product, felt
It was
that there
ominous.
was a dissonant tone.
There's an ominousness to it. I also felt like Don couldn't sleep the whole show. And here he is resting comfortably because he got what he wanted.
Yeah, because his conscience is soothed. You know what I mean? There's,
his conscience or
it's
something
very
else.
it's very layered and complex. I like that. It's good.
It's a great episode. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.